All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of What's What PR. Today we have Brooke Goodrich with us today from the Old State Capitol. Brooke, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
We are like everybody else, kind of keeping up with the times, waiting for the next change to happen, waiting for the next shoe to drop, kind of see where things go.
hmm
Two things are you guys in the same boat? Got a
Oh
lot.
yeah, definitely.
So you guys are a little bit different. You guys are a place. This isn't, you can't necessarily work from home, Old State Capitol. You can't take it home. You can't move it. You can't do things. What's going on over there while everybody's at home? I've been hearing news and seeing, kind of the chatter online that you guys are doing some great things with, bringing exhibits, home to people, be able to see things that they've never been able to do before.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like so many other places right now, we're just racking our brains trying to figure out ways to bring our museum to people at home. And it's been kind of challenging for us for sure, just because this is a huge building, so we can't cover every nook and cranny of it. But we definitely have made a lot of efforts to bring these exhibits, to bring different things to people at home. We have right now on our website, we have coloring sheets, puzzles for kids, and then we were able to throw together a virtual tour, which was tedious for sure, but we got it done in about 2 weeks, and we're hoping in the future to be able to build on that. So yeah, we're just like everybody else. We're just trying to change and evolve with what's going on, and just holding tight, really.
It's funny you mentioned the virtual tour, and it was tedious. You said, it took a couple of weeks, but I've been on projects on the other side of this, like pre-pandemic, where people would talk about, oh, we're going to do virtual tours, and it turns into these, oh, let's get a committee, let's get everybody involved, let's get the process, we'll have it done. It's our goal for, second quarter, third quarter. Sometimes people drag these things out.
Yeah.
Whether it be a virtual or something else, but now you guys nailed it in 2 weeks and put it
Yeah.
out there. It's just kind of go mode, and everybody just stepped up. So
Absolutely. So when we kind of got the feeling that we were going to start closing, my boss came to me and said, do we need to pull the plug on the virtual tour? We just got a brand new website at the end of last year, which we put a lot of time and effort into. And so a virtual tour wasn't quite on our radar just yet. And so, the first few days working from home, I was like, well, I got to keep busy somehow. So I just started Googling it, which is the best thing I do with Google. And I just started Googling how can we do a virtual tour? We are a state agency, but we are essentially nonprofit. And so sometimes those virtual tours can get kind of expensive. And we knew that we really didn't have that kind of a budget at the moment to really get this state-of-the-art virtual tour. And so, like I said, I just started Googling, and I found some resources online, and I downloaded a few apps, and I came up to the building, and I just started taking pictures. Fortunately, we were able to find, the biggest thing was really finding a 360 digital camera to get that seamless look of each room. And lucky enough, my boss was able to purchase that for me. We came in here, and we took the pictures, and it was, like I said, it was very tedious. I came back and took pictures maybe 5 or 6 times, and we're talking about each room, and there's so many rooms, so many exhibits in this building. It's 40,000 square feet or 60,000 square feet that we're trying to cover with this camera. And then I just went home at night. There were nights when I stayed up to the wee hours of the morning putting it together. But we got it. And I think the best thing about ours is that it's not just pictures. We included narration in it for people to kind of get the feel that you're actually on a tour. And then there's little points of interest that you can click on that will give you more information about some of the things hanging on the wall, or certain artifacts and stuff like that. So we put a lot of time into it. We did it fast, but we're happy to have that now. So people that can't make it here, and even when we do open it, people that can't make it here can still go online and see that.
Well, that's what I thought was interesting about what you guys did with the tour. A lot of people have done some basic, here's some pictures and here's some basic things, but you can follow the tour that you guys did, read some of the interesting facts you put there, but also kind of find your own way, look around, see what it is. I've been to, and I'm sure probably a lot of people have been to the Old State Capitol and done a wedding there or an event, and you kind of make it in, and you go to the right, you go to the left, you kind of stay in the upstairs is roped off, and you don't get to see everything. That's what I thought was interesting. You guys kind of went all in on this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a goal of ours. We wanted to bring as much as we could to the people at home. We know that there's so many parents right now that are trying to, outside of homeschooling, trying to keep their kids occupied. And so we figured this was something that was fun and educational. And the best thing about it is that you can kind of skip around. You don't necessarily have to go to every room. If you don't see something that you really, that interests you, you can jump ahead to, the QEP long room. If you're really interested in QEP long, well, you can go ahead and jump along to that. So yeah, I mean, right now it's, like I said, it's not some state-of-the-art virtual tour. We hope in the future to expand on it, but right now it's definitely something that we're proud of.
Well, and I think that's, I talked with somebody the other day and we were talking about, virtual tours and things going online. The virtual tour doesn't replace coming to the state capitol.
Yeah.
It's that provoking, it's the take a look, here's what you can see. You never can, as far as I'm concerned, and I'm a tech guy, through and through, virtual, reality, virtual tours, they're great, but they let you see what you can actually go see, and it's something different to see it with your own eyes, to bring your kids through, to smell it, to kind of walk through the rooms and know the history that's what's walked those same halls. So.
Absolutely. And, one of the things we tell school groups when they come in here, despite all the things that we have in this museum, the greatest artifact that we have is actually this building itself. When you look back on it, this building is nearly 175 years old. We seceded from the Union here. QEP Long was impeached here. It's seen fires and wars and debates and, so many things. So you're right. It doesn't really, virtual tours and anything virtual doesn't actually replace physically coming here and seeing it. This place is one of those places where, if walls could talk, these walls have seen it all for sure.
That's that's one of the things I was going to say. I had to question the museums played, kind of a role throughout the pandemic, that we've had here. But I think there's more of a story there. There's some history. This isn't your first rodeo, right? As far as the, museum itself. I think you've got a little story there. I think I know it. If you could share it with everybody, it might be a little bit interesting.
Yeah. So, like I said, this building is 175 years old. One of the pandemics people keep on bringing up is the Spanish flu pandemic in the early 1900s. This building was around for that. So this isn't our first rodeo. We don't have a whole lot of information on that. At least I don't know a lot of information. Our curator may know a little bit more, and we'll have her on next time we meet with you guys. But one of the roles that museums in our museum is playing throughout this is really just documenting this. We don't realize it now, but we are very much living through history. One of the things we shared on our website and our social media channels was a COVID-19 time capsule for kids and adults, which allows people to document, their feelings, what are they doing. And we know that through social media, we'll be able to look back on this years from now. But nothing really replaces having the actual paper, to pass down through generations. So much of what we know about this building, how it was built by our original architect, James Dakin, comes from his diaries. He kept a diary throughout the process of constructing this building. So we know how this building was made. We know how he went about doing those things. One of the things one of our artifacts in the museum is Sarah Fowler Morgan's diaries. So a lot of what we know about Baton Rouge before, after, and during the Civil War comes from those diaries. So, 50 years from now, we may not have access to all these pictures and status updates that we're posting on social media. But if you keep this time capsule and you document what you're going through right now, how you're feeling, how you're passing the time, projects you've done, we'll know that, and it'll be able to carry on throughout history. And so, a lot of museums that we've seen have shared those time capsules, just, so we're encouraging people to really document this time in history, for sure.
That's interesting. I never thought about it. And while you were talking, it made me think, I think it was a couple of years ago, I had heard or read an article, you talk about us living in history, that this is what COVID-19 will make it to a history book. I remember somebody, where I was going with that was a couple of years ago, somebody pointed out that, hey, this is the first textbook that has a history of 9/11. We all lived it. I could tell you where I was. I think this is going to go down in one of those where were you when Kennedy, was shot? Where were
Yeah.
you at 9/11? Where were you during COVID-19?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those crazy times, and to
Yeah.
think that the old state capitol's been through it twice, and
Yeah.
there's some history there. That's right here in our own backyard.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's people don't realize, they're driving through downtown. It's a beautiful building, but there's a lot more to it than that. There's history there. It's not just a place for
Yeah.
events. So what that being in that museum space, everybody's from venues. We've talked to swim schools here. We've talked to, the zoo. We've talked to Olympic athletes. We've talked to professional athletes. We talk to people in every different form of business. But, what does it look like, as the challenges in the museum world? Like you guys, obviously, everyone plans for business and they try to plan for, you hear people, and I used to be in the IT space and we called it, what is your DR plan or your disaster recovery plan? In my defense, we never wrote down pandemic
Yeah.
and started writing down what happens next. What's the plan? How does that challenge, you guys obviously are having challenges in the museum, or what is that? What are you guys looking at? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So, going forward, like so many other people, we don't know what's coming next. We don't know when we'll be able to reopen. We don't know when we're coming back into the building to actually work. But as of right now, we're planning to continue our online stuff. We have a new exhibit coming in that was scheduled to open May 15th, and we're going ahead with the plans to open it. And we're planning to put it all online, virtual. We'll have a walkthrough. We'll have our curator curating it. So she'll explain to you what exactly is going on. And so that's kind of our plan right now. Unfortunately, right before all this started, we had a pretty huge exhibit on Coney Island. It was much larger than our normal exhibits. And it's still sitting in cases right now. We weren't able to put it together. We can't show it to anybody, so we're just sending it back, which is unfortunate. But nobody planned for this to happen, and we definitely explored different options, and we just decided, it just wasn't. It was so large that we just really couldn't put it together, and just to have, a virtual walkthrough. But this next one we'll definitely put online, and there's a possibility we may be open so people can come in and see it, but we don't know. So we're just planning on moving forward with our online content. And I think one of the silver linings I think throughout all this is that museums have been forced to really think outside the box and to digitize so much. And you talked earlier about artifacts and seeing and being in the museum, and for us that's very much a thing with museums. So much of what we do depends on people being able to see artifacts or touch the artifacts. And right now we just can't do that. So we're having to get creative and keep people thinking about this for sure. And so that's what we're doing, just moving forward and doing the best we can, like so many other people.
I think it's one of the things that we've learned. I've used Zoom for years, and in the tech side of the world, it's been a no-brainer. Let's jump on a Zoom call, or just send someone a Zoom link.
Yeah.
I used to try to do that, 6 months ago to people, around kind of that weren't in that tech space. That's like, what is this? How do I do it? Now it's like, hey, let's jump on Zoom. It makes absolute sense. Where I'm going with that is the pandemic, as horrible, as it is, but it has pushed everyone to start really leveraging technology. And one of the best examples, I think I may have talked about this on one of the other shows, but it's not related directly, but it's an idea. It's, if you remember years ago, Google came out with their Google glasses, and everybody was wearing, people were like, they kind of look funny, and it kind of did some augmented reality, did different things. It never caught on. Nobody wanted to really do anything. And people were, what are you going to do with the space? But I read an article not too long ago. It was amazing. And this came up because I was talking with Theater Baton Rouge. There's a group over in Europe that started using the technology, put in the Google glasses where you could look through, and for live theater events, it would post closed captions above the people's heads as they were talking and walking around on stage.
Oh, wow.
And so it was really neat just to see, like, this is a piece of technology that got recycled and reused to where, you could see maybe down the road, as people embrace more technology, it's looking, hey, you do your virtual tour and you walk through and you've got some of the stuff that you've already worked on, that's popping up for people to see. But the point is, I think it's awesome where technology's been able to jump in and help us here. You know,
Yeah.
we are isolated and quarantined kind of back to the home, but look at us, you know, 20 years ago, we wouldn't have been doing this, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
talking on a video, you know, call, you know, finding out what's, you know, going on over there. So kind of with that, what do you see a, you know, future change, you know, kind of for the museum? Are you guys having some of those conversations that you never had before?
Oh yeah, for sure. So it's actually funny you said that because we've been doing conference calls, and yesterday we actually had our first staff Zoom meeting, which was fun. It was nice to see everybody. And on the more personal side, last week during the NFL draft, my family did a virtual draft party, so we were able to see everybody, which was certainly not normal or anything we've ever done. But it was a nice little change and to see everybody again. But yeah, going forward, I think we'll just continue to build upon this online presence. I think we've all realized how important it is because here in Louisiana, there's so many people that don't make it here to this building. Every year, especially around this time, we are flooded with school groups. It's the end of the year. You're trying to get in those last few field trips. And every year there's so many schools that don't make it here. And some of it's, a distance issue. Some of it's a funding issue. And so, again, one of the silver linings is that now we do have this virtual tour and we have this online content to bring to those schools that will never get a chance to come here. And so we just want to continue to build upon that. I think we've realized how important it is to have a great website, which we are so thankful for that we got that up and running last year. It's like we knew something ahead of time. And so, yeah, I think, and I know my staff here, I think we also have started to realize how important it is to have that online content and to be able to bring what we have here to everybody, and not even just Louisiana, across the world too. Our stained glass has been featured all over the world. We were named recently one of the top 10 stained glass places in the world.
Wow.
So it's nice that we can bring that to everybody. And really, when I started looking into the virtual tour stuff, one of the things that stood out to me was when all those huge museums in Europe started closing, in Italy, and those are world-class museums. When they started closing, they went all online. And so that's when I got the idea. I was like, oh yeah, sure. I mean, their budget's probably a little bit different than ours, but if they can do it, we for sure can do it too. And people were just, they loved it. They loved being able to travel or virtually travel to Paris to see the Mona Lisa, or to there's museums over there in Italy with Renaissance artwork and stuff. So yeah, it's something that we for sure plan to build upon and to really expand upon it.
I think there's people are getting forced into the shift. I've seen over the years in the publishing space, for instance, a lot of publishers, I remember we used to have conversations about, are you going to put your magazine, online? And you'd hear people like, no, if I do that, then, people won't, go pick up the magazine. And it was funny, you see people make the adjustment. We made a jump and we found out, that it's such a small percentage of people, will pick up a magazine and read it online. It's two completely different audiences. To where, like you said, you've got people that I think that live in Baton Rouge, that probably, like I said, I've been to the Old State Capitol a number of times. I've done some tours, which I love it. But before I did some of those tours, it was you'd go for the wedding and you'd go to the right, you'd go to the left, and you kind of did the basic little room. You did that little spill, and people drive up and down the street and they don't realize what we have right here in our own backyard. And I think we're very fortunate here in, Baton Rouge and Louisiana that we have a lot of this history here. And I find it just amazing how many people are from here but haven't gone and done these things. But then when they go travel, they're like, let's go find a museum and let's go see something. It's like, you didn't have to do anything but just drive down the street, when you're back at home. And it's something to do with the kids, and not only just where the museum is, but where it's located. You can walk down to the river walk, kind of go out there. You can see things. God, we couldn't have asked for better weather, for all this right now. So hopefully we'll keep that up through the summer.
Yeah.
So
And speaking on that, you know, the local government has done a really great job at revitalizing this downtown area, and we've really kind of become the central point of it. You know, where they host Live After 5 is right here in our backyard, basically. And so we're very fortunate that they've put in so much effort down here in this town square area, that, you know, people are coming down here more, and that we are obviously very visible. You know, so we're very fortunate, and we're very thankful for that.
So do you guys, in a normal, you know, in a pre-COVID-19, do you see a lot of camps, you know, come through and bring, you know, kids and their programs through?
Oh yeah, definitely all summer long. Like I said, around this time of the year, it's school groups. We're a free museum, so it's very easy to schedule with us and to bring a school group here. Teachers are trying to fill in those last few days of school. And then we kind of transition into those summer camps. We get a ton of summer camps from all over the city that come in. And usually it's really nice. You know, we have the grounds, and people are welcome to come and eat their lunch. So a lot of these camps bring in their lunches, and they sit outside underneath the trees and eat their lunch, let the kids run around. Or the biggest thing is rolling down the hill. So a lot of kids do that, get that energy out, and then they go back to camp and, you know, wait for the parents to pick them up. But yeah, so, you know, we're hoping to be open this summer and we can have some of those camps come in, but we just don't know.
Hope for the best, plan for the worst, right?
Yeah.
So,
yes.
So you mentioned you've got a new exhibit that was scheduled for the 15th, you know, to open, and that's going to be virtual. Are you able to tell us what that is yet, or is that a not yet kind of thing?
Well, the title of that exhibit is Sign of the Times, and I don't have the information on me right now, but I believe it is on the political posters. So I think we're gonna, you know, talk with you guys again in a few weeks, and we'll have the curator here, and we'll have the actual exhibit up, so you guys will be able to see it in the background. And we're gonna follow that up. We're planning on following that up with the actual online content, so that you can actually see a lot of those posters and what that exhibit entails. And this will be the first one that we put online, so we're excited for it for sure.
And this is something, you know, I guess it's worth, you know, reading between the lines, kind of printing it. You guys have to continue, you know, the grounds still have to be kept up. The building has to be maintained, you know, like other businesses, payrolls have got to run, you know, things still have to happen. So the building might be closed, but by no means, you know, you got a staff, you know, everybody's there moving, you know, and shaking, trying to get things, you know, might be everybody's distancing, coming and going, but there's still a lot of work to do. And where I'm kind of drawing that line is I'm sure there's somebody, you guys are still having to find these exhibits and have conversations, and that's got to change the way things, you can't just stop the supply chain, you know, dead in its tracks and say, we'll pick this up in a few months, you know, so there's still a lot of work that's happening over there.
Yeah, a lot of it is behind the scenes. There's a ton of emails being sent back and forth. As far as here in the building, people have been, you know, it's such a large building, and we have such a small staff that for us to come in for a few hours each day and work, it's not really an issue. And so we have had staff members come in and get some work done. Our maintenance guys have been checking in every day to make sure everything is good to go. And then every day we have a security guard on duty, so they're able to, you know, keep an eye on things. So yeah, I mean, it's business as usual, as most normal way as we can make it. So it's
the new usual.
You know, the
business
new
is new usual. So
yeah.
So yeah, I pointed that out to be, you know, for everybody that you jumped, you know, probably just so used to it from your side, but it's a free museum. You know, so, you know, I think families and everybody's kind of making their, not bucket list, but the, you know, go outside list or leave the home list. And this would be, you know, this is the leave. You've got 40,000, you know, square feet. You've got grounds for kids to roll down. You've got, you know, tour, you know, go look at it online, run through the virtual tour, look at the new website, add it to the list of this is what you're gonna do. And you don't have to spend any money. Pack a sandwich, throw a lunch together, brown bag it, you know, head to the old state capitol.
Yeah, it's so easy to come in here. You just walk in the doors. Our front desk people usually ask you, where are you from? Have you ever been here before? Just a few quick questions, and then you're welcome to explore the building on your own. We have that first floor, and then of course we have the staircase, which everybody loves going up and down. And then we also have a kids room. So that's one of the things that we've I haven't touched on, but we do have a kids room that always has different activities going on. Right now, our theme of this year is celebrating the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage. So right now in the kids room, which obviously nobody can get into, is explain that in terms of kids, so they can get an idea of how that works. And we actually just put all that stuff online yesterday. So anybody that's watching this, you're welcome to go online and download a lot of those lesson plans, coloring sheets that explains what suffrage is and how important it was 100 years ago for women to get the right to vote.
Absolutely. If you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going, right?
Yeah.
Well, look, Brooke, I think I'm excited. I know we've got you guys scheduled coming back, to tell us some more information. I'm even more excited you've now told us we can actually get to see some things in the background. We're going to have some more things going on. Anything else that we need to let everybody know this week, what's going on? I know obviously we can't get them there, but it's do the virtual tour, look at the new website, get the coloring sheets, get the history, get the lesson. You guys are just dumping information, and it's amazing to go from like not have, like you said, new website beginning of the year to now it's online content, lessons, virtual tours. You guys are just killing it. So
yeah, we're trying to do our best right now. It's tough times for everybody, and we understand that right now it's almost overwhelming how many resources are out there. And so we're not trying to push anything on anybody, but we definitely want people to check out our website and check out our social media. Just the other day I posted back in 2010, we had a Huey P. Long symposium that explored his assassination and his life and his legacy. And I posted part 1 the other day, which people were very interested to see. And we'll post the rest of the parts in the coming days. So just check out our social media and our website, and we hope that some of those things on there will be of use to people.
Louisiana has an awesome history. A lot of states can't say that they have that. It really is.
Yes.
I've always enjoyed it. I just wish more people would dive into it. It's every day, you can turn another corner every time you turn around and find something you didn't know. So. Yeah,
absolutely. Actually, just yesterday was Louisiana's, I think, 208th birthday. And when I was researching to write a post on Facebook, some of just us ratifying to become a state was just crazy, as you can imagine. It wasn't as simple as just petitioning it to Congress. It was a lot of back and forth. Who owns this land? Where is this border? What about this? What about that? And so I encourage people to go and read up on just us becoming a state and how difficult that was and how crazy it was. In true Louisiana fashion, of course, nothing's really straightforward and easy.
Absolutely. I was talking to somebody God, I don't remember how long it was recent, but they were an adult. They were grown up, and it just kind of fell out in conversation. I was like, well, we have parishes, everybody else has counties, and they stopped me like, what? Yeah. I was like, no, we're the only place that has a parish. Nobody else has a parish. And it turned into this whole history lesson that just forgot our whole original conversation. And it was, well, this is why, this is what you need to. And they were like, I had no idea. And I'm like, how do you not know that? You need to, go read something, go pick up a book. This is interesting. You'll like it. It's a lot better than whatever you're watching on TV. And so, So, well, look, I think, it's amazing what you guys are doing, pumping content out there. That's what people need. If they're going to watch something, let's go watch, run them through a virtual tour. Let's, see what's happening. Mm-hmm. I think, the more kids who can see some of this and dive in, the better. So I think it's amazing what you guys are doing. Well, look, you guys are coming back soon. We've already got you. I don't know if we're scheduled yet, but I do know we're looking forward to it. So
I don't think we have an exact date. We are waiting to see if we can get this exhibit in and get a few people in here to put it up. So of course, 6 feet apart to put it up. So.
Yeah, 6 feet apart. We'll zoom back. We'll do what we can on it. Well, look, Brooke, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day, with us. It is a beautiful day outside. People can watch this whenever, but it is a Friday. It's beautiful outside. Yeah. If there's anything we can help you with, or if anything you need to know, just let us know. And my usual sign up for Friday is have a good time and everybody go to church online this weekend. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke.